Catfish mystery. A marriage therapist believes she's in a relationship with actor Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
You're sending money to somebody you've never met.
I know.
No, you don't.
You gave him your bank account passwords.
He told me he was putting the money aside to leave his wife.
There's something wrong with you upstairs.
Now,
My psychiatrist and my therapist couldn't get through to me.
Well, I'm gonna.
she's about to find out
We traced Jeffrey's exact location.
who's really behind the scam.
No way!
Yeah, way. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today's going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Thank you. Well, James says his 58-year-old Aunt Terry is a very smart and independent woman who is a marriage counselor with a master's degree in clinical psychology. So you're probably wondering why he reached out to me. Well, James claims that his Aunt Terry has fallen for a massive scam by believing she was romantically involved with the Hollywood actor Jeffrey Dean Morgan from The Walking Dead. Now, she even believed that he wanted to marry her. Now, the problem, aside from the actor already being married, is that whoever contacted Aunt Terry isn't the real Jeffrey Dean Morgan. But Terry says she is 100% convinced that Jeffrey, or someone working with him, is her secret lover who scammed her out of thousands of dollars and put her smack dab in the center of an international money laundering scam that left her brokenhearted, and with the possibility of jail time. Take a look.
Recently, I got a direct message from Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the actor from Walking Dead, via social media. He's all, "Hi, fan." I'm like, "Hi." I asked him why he texted me, and he said because he liked my profile, he liked my name. My name was the Morgana. His account wasn't verified because it was a fan account. Jeffrey told me that he used the account to talk to his fans online. I did tell him that I hated his character, Negan, because he reminded me of my father, and it scared the crap out of me.
My Aunt Terry told me she had a boyfriend, and it was the actor Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I laughed it off, but I didn't realize she believed it was true.
Things moved really, really quickly, and much to my dismay, I fell in love. He even started talking about marriage. He was very kind, he was very thoughtful. I was consumed by him. I'd do anything in the world for him. I gave him about $8,000 worth of iTunes cards because he was building our future. My hypothesis is Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a character actor and he doesn't have a whole lot of money. I trusted him, so I gave him all of my bank account, passwords, and all of my information on all of my social media, everything. He literally controlled my life. Recently, Jeffrey began depositing money in my bank account. He did like $3,900, then he did $4,000, then he did $5,000. He said they were for a client's pharmaceutical school fees in China. And then I would receive the money and I would then forward it on. I know now that I was unwittingly money laundering. The police told me that it was a witless scam. The investigation is ongoing at this time. I feel like a victim in all of this. I would really like to know if Jeffrey Dean Morgan is truly involved in the situation because I want answers to this scam. Honestly, I'm still in love with the guy and I miss him texting me and telling me that he loved me and that I was special to him.
Well, Terry, first off, I'm sorry that this has happened. You've gotten caught up in this, but you say that you are 100% convinced that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is complicit in scamming you, or someone from his team some kind of way is. So I want to give you my 2 cents about all this as well.
That would actually be really very helpful because, you know, with my psychiatrist and my therapist, they just couldn't get through to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Well, I'm gonna.
You better hope.
All right. Let's take a look at the timeline of events so we can kind of catch everybody up. This covers about a several month period. And first in April,
Right.
this is where you met Jeffrey. And I'm putting it in quotes right now because we don't know if it's Jeffrey.
That's okay.
Okay, via Twitter in April. Okay, then in June, you really started to develop strong feelings for him because you guys share things, intimate things.
Very intimate. I opened up my whole world, and I don't do that to anybody.
So
Nobody
in
did that.
July, Jeffrey discusses marriage, but even though you have strong feelings, you say, well, pump the brakes here. It's too soon for this.
Right.
Now, from April to August here, you have sent Jeffrey $8,000 in iTunes cards.
Yes, sir.
And most people may not know, but iTunes cards is a very fluent currency. I mean, people can exchange money through iTunes cards because you can spend them on the internet.
Every time I gave him money, he always, on the internet, it was always seemed to be like, there was my proof. On social media, there's my proof, there's my proof, there's my proof.
What do you mean there's your proof?
Proof of like what I spent the money for, like on different projects he would do.
But he was telling you that he needed money because he was doing philanthropic things, right?
No, he told me he was putting the money aside to leave his wife.
Well, that's philanthropic. If you're going to leave her money, I mean, I thought he was saying that he was...
Basically what he told me was that he was using the money to build a nest egg for us. He was working on all these projects.
All right, so now, early September...
yeah, that wasn't actually...
You gave him your bank account details and passwords.
Yep.
And he deposited money in your account. He's not asking for money, he's giving you money. 3 times in your account.
What the hell is that all about?
$3,900, $4,000, $5,000. And so you sent $11,900, which is this amount, via Western Union MoneyGram to China. And a 50, 60-year-old Indian man in a red car had you under surveillance for 4 days. Mm-hmm. Now, how did you know about this guy?
Oh, because he was sitting outside of my house every time the check was in my account. And so, like, I would go to the bank, and first I went there, and I didn't want to pull out the 20 grand he put in because I was too afraid to have that much money on my body. So then I turned it into a cashier's check and put it back in my account. And
who did you think this guy was?
This guy? I have no idea.
But all of a sudden somebody's watching you?
Yeah, it kind of freaked me out.
What, did you take a picture of the car? Did you get a license plate?
No, because he disappeared before I even thought about it.
Okay. Then, September 24, Jeffrey deposits $20,000 into your account. You withdrew the bank. This is when you got the cashier's check for $19,000. Then you got concerned, so you redeposited the cashier's check back into the same account, but you withdrew $5,000 in cash.
Right, because he wanted me to go to a Bitcoin to do it, and I couldn't find. I was driving for 2 nights looking for some stupid Bitcoin that never existed. He was so ignorant. That's why I'm like, how could he be a professional criminal? No one's this stupid.
Well, so the next day, but you do find one.
Huh?
You do find one the next day because you converted the $5,000
Well, I did. Yeah, I actually did find one. But this bonehead was telling me, go to here, go here, go here.
So the bonehead you're talking about is
yeah, bonehead Maroney.
Is Jeffrey? Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now the bank account gets frozen. 2 days later, they freeze your bank account. There's an investigation launched for bank fraud allegations, and you call the police because you want to be transparent about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and I want to make. Let me say that again really clear. She wanted to be transparent about this whole thing. She called the police here. So if an investigation is going on, I want to make it real clear. She called the police. She wanted to be transparent about this. So anybody that's investigating any kind of bank fraud or money laundering or scam, people that are involved in that, they don't call the police and ask for an investigation. Victims call the police and ask for an investigation. She's the victim, not the perpetrator. Okay? Just want to be real clear about that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Terry's nephew, James, says, When his aunt initially told him that she was in a secret love affair with the actor Jeffrey Dean Morgan, well, he laughed, but he says it's not really a laughing matter anymore. We're going to meet James and his wife, Natasha, who is actually the one who wrote to me. We'll talk to them next.
Every time James and I tried to convince Terry this was a scam, she wouldn't believe us.
Ever since my Aunt Terry has been talking to Jeffrey Dean Morgan, she's withdrawn from the family. I feel like something really isn't right upstairs.
I've read lots of things about scams and how single women can definitely be vulnerable.
And later,
Wow, you rock, dude.
you're going to find out just how much I rock because we traced Jeffrey's exact location.
I knew Jeffrey was real for a bunch of reasons. I know this man very intimately, and I don't even know the man. It's frightening, quite frankly. I knew he was married, and he had told me that they had a lot of problems in their marriage, that they slept in different bedrooms. I verified that online because I'm a sleuth. Back in June, he was going to a Comic-Con that was nearby, and I wanted him to come to my home and see me. He was only going to see me if his wife wasn't going to go. That day, I saw a picture of his wife. It looked like she was crying because she didn't get to go to Comic-Con. Then he told me that he couldn't come because he didn't want his crew to know about us. The thing is, there's just too many coincidences for it not to be him. And like when I talk to my friends about them, they're like, oh! I'm like, oh, I know, right?
Terry is a qualified marriage and family therapist who says that she believes that she had met the man of her dreams when Jeffrey struck up a romantic online relationship with her. Now, Terry claims that she sent Jeffrey thousands of dollars, but soon realized that he was scamming her. But according to Terry's nephew, James, and his wife, Natasha, they say they warned her all along that Jeffrey was a fraud. Take a look at this.
Ever since my Aunt Terry has been talking to Jeffrey Dean Morgan, she's withdrawn and isolated herself from the family.
Terry's a very fierce and independent woman with a strong personality. It really shows that scams can happen to anyone.
My aunt has lost all insight from this person who has been manipulating her and taking advantage of her. I feel like something really isn't right upstairs. To accept these things as reality, there has to be something wrong.
I've read lots of things about scams and how single women can definitely be vulnerable.
The woman that I see in front of me today is not the woman that I saw when I was a little kid, and it terrifies me. The thing that's so frightening about this is the moments of lucid clarity that she has, where she actually acknowledges that, oh yeah, this is a scam, I am getting ripped off, and then 10 minutes later, I'm right back to talking to the person again.
Every time James and I tried to convince Terry this was a scam, she wouldn't believe us. Sometimes, just to get James and I to stop, Terry would go, yeah, Jeffrey's not real.
I've tried to convince her to abandon her emails, to walk away from her iTunes accounts, to just get a new phone, but she refuses to walk away from those ties.
There would be times where Terry would block Jeffrey in front of James and I on her phone. Then the next time James and I would go over there, she'd be talking to Jeffrey again.
She has a problem. If she continues to pursue this Jeffrey Dean Morgan, then I can't help her anymore.
Well, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. And you actually wrote in.
Yes, thank you for having us.
You two have talked to Terry about this from the beginning, right?
Absolutely.
From the first
Yes.
time you heard something about it.
Yeah, the first time she brought this up and she told me that I'm talking to Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I kind of just laughed it off. But when she started to really fall into this and say that this person is being romantically involved with me and I'm sending money to them, and that was a huge red flag, especially with the iTunes cards and telling me that you're sending this money to somebody you've never met.
I know.
No, you don't.
When you were contacted, we have accounts on Twitter. I have an account on Twitter, and sometimes I have 20 or 30 accounts on Twitter. But there's one that has a check mark by it that says it's verified. So you got contacted from a verified account?
No, from well, he said it was his personal account that he talked to his fans on.
But it wasn't his verified account?
No, you can only have one verified account. You cannot have more than one.
How come that accent drifts?
Because sometimes I talk like American, sometimes I don't.
But you've never spoken like this before,
I've
ever.
always talked this
no,
way.
you haven't.
Yes, I have. Don't
What's her normal accent?
She talks like a normal person,
No,
like a
I
Californian.
don't. No,
Yes,
I
you
don't.
do. Yes, you do, Terry.
How is she talking?
Oh,
how is she?
let's talk to
This
let's-
Gaelic, French Canadian
Oh.
accent. It's
Oh,
not.
no.
It's not you.
When did you get? Okay.
There's something
Oh, no,
wrong
no,
with
no,
you
no, no, no,
upstairs. You got so defensive the first time I said you might need help. Go ahead. I don't care.
Okay, hold on. I'm really confused.
So am I. I don't know where the hell this child is coming from.
Hold on, come on. Everybody take a deep breath here. Seriously, James, talk to me.
Yeah,
Talk to me, because you're not getting along with her very well.
absolutely.
You realize now that that could be anyone because it wasn't a verified account. And for it to be a verified account,
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I am on there, and just because I'm not verified does not mean I am not a real person. Well, I'm not having my real name, but that's true too.
well, I understand, but if you have a verified account, they really do go to lengths to determine that it's really you.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay, now James says that he has often heard me talk about how I use stories as teaching tools. That's why he sat with his Aunt Terry, he sat her down and showed her clips from not one, not two, but three of my episodes featuring what we call catfish stories. But she brushed him off, didn't want to see it, didn't want to hear it. We'll talk more about that after the break. When you see someone else in that situation, as a professional, what do you see?
Denial.
And later, we've been doing some work on your individual, and we struck up a conversation with Jeffrey.
My nephew James showed me videos from the Dr. Phil show of people being scammed like myself.
You scammed me out of $211,000, and if I could get my ass to find you, I'd kill you.
I've seen several episodes that involve catfishing, and all the red flags came up speaking to my aunt, and she will not listen. I've heard Dr. Phil say perception is reality, and I fear that my aunt may not be able to come back from that. It's so depressing when I can show her all these clips of all these people that are walking through her shoes, and she doesn't acknowledge it. It's a sense of hopelessness that I've never experienced before, knowing that I can't get through to someone.
So you sat down to show her some of these things,
Right.
but she didn't want to.
No, she just brushed it off and saw it more as an entertainment thing. Couldn't grasp that. I'm trying to show you a piece of your life. I'm trying to show you the mistakes you're making. I'm trying to show you that this is how it happens. And she just...
You know, and that, no, I mean, you don't have to, be ignorant or dumb to be scammed by
Absolutely.
one of these.
No, listen, it doesn't have anything to do with intelligence. This has to do with emotion.
Exactly.
Right.
It is emotion.
That's what gets to people is it's emotion. And sometimes it does involve an alleged celebrity. Here's a clip that James showed his aunt that featured another celebrity whose name and image was used in a scam. It's very brief. Take a look.
My daughters have had a habit of picking up my phone and looking at it and assuming that what they see, they know exactly what they're talking about.
You have different ways of communicating with him, right?
Different ways of communicating, yes.
Well, I have his personal cell phone number, and it ain't any of the numbers that you have.
Okay.
I've got a number that when I ring, he picks it up every time,
Okay.
and it isn't any of the numbers that you have.
And I can agree with
Okay.
with that because that wasn't our main, that hasn't been our main form of communication.
Okay, this was a clip of a woman that truly believed that she was in a relationship with Tyler Perry. And,
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
And when you see someone else in that situation and that resistant, as a professional, what do you see?
Denial.
Right?
What I see is what I see in myself. The fact that we don't want to admit that we were scammed, that we were stupid, and we were lonely, whatever.
It's not about being stupid.
Old cows,
Here's
whatever.
another clip that James showed his aunt from a show that aired 3.5 years ago. September 13th of 2013, you meet Chris Olson. Within 3 months, you start sending him money. That's a lot of money. $1,422,252.24.
God, I got lucky.
Well, here's the
Money.
here's the tragic thing. This is a woman that works her entire life. This is her entire life savings, all the work of her whole life.
I would die.
And then it's gone.
I would die.
And that is so tragic. And there's one more that he showed you. And since those past shows did not do the trick, James showed his Aunt Terry this clip from a show that aired just a year ago. Put it on speaker and let's see what they say.
Soshi, can you hear me?
I'm broke. I returned the money back to my wife.
No, listen here, you sorry. You're not broke. Your scam's up, you sorry bastard. You scammed me out of $211,000, and if I could get my ass to find you, I'd kill you.
Listen, I never take pleasure in having to give that information to someone because you're emotionally invested and you mourn the loss of a relationship. I mean, because it is real to you. At one time, this was real to you.
Very much so.
And, you know, here's another clip from 4.5 years ago that James would probably want his Aunt Terry to see.
Is that him calling you right now?
Yes, it's him.
Let me talk to you. Let me
God,
talk to
see,
you.
I told you, this guy is relentless.
Hello?
Do you know how bad you have hurt me? I have no money left. I have nothing.
He's calling you back to try to dissuade you because he's scared because I said we can track your IP backwards, you scumbag scammer. I'm going to get in your ass. That's why he's calling you back.
Oh, you really did that?
Yeah.
Wow, you rock, dude.
Yeah. Well, you're going to find out just how much I rock because we've been doing some work on your individual, and I'm going to tell you what we found out right after the break.
Really?
So many red flags that Terry is overlooking with this Jeffrey Dean Morgan. They don't talk on the phone, they don't converse with each other, they only have brisk text messages between each other, and they're incredibly secretive between the two of them. Why can't she see a picture of him immediately? Because it's probably not him. Why is he asking for money? Isn't he a celebrity? It's probably not him. Could you believe that somebody you loved and someone you were so close to just wasn't paying attention, just didn't open their eyes, just didn't want to hear what you had to say, but they trust this person over you?
Closed captioning provided by...
If I met my scammer today, I would like to say, how could you be so cruel to hurt someone like me? My family won't talk to me. My bank won't even let me in my bank. I'm afraid I'm going to get arrested. Honestly, I'm still in love with my scammer. I miss him texting me and telling me that he loved me and that I was special to him. I haven't been in a relationship in so many years, and I got burned.
Now, Terry says she's 100% certain that she has been scammed and used as a money mule, and that Hollywood actor Jeffrey Dean Morgan is involved. Now, her nephew James and his wife Natasha say they're 100% certain that that's not the case.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It was so many coincidences. I mean, so many things, so many. Everything was just so weird.
Well, you can look at coincidences,
I mean, the guy had to know him really well or something.
This is Terry's phone, which we sent to our private investigator. So we have.
I was fine with that.
Yeah, we have private investigators that we use that are very, very sophisticated in cyber technology and cyber crimes. We did this because Terry gave her passwords to Jeffrey, who changed them and locked her out of all of her own accounts.
Yeah.
Now, the private investigator, with Terry's permission, accessed her account and eventually struck up a conversation with Jeffrey.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
No way, really?
Yeah, way.
Really?
Struck up a conversation with this Jeffrey. So we're wanting, of course, to find out everything we can about this individual. We want to know who, where, what, how,
and when's
why.
he going to jail?
Yeah, we want to know all of that. So first off, we wanted to know where this person really is.
Yeah.
It's on Tuesday, October 2nd. Our private investigator was able to start a conversation with Jeffrey on Google Hangout, which is the place that he got you to go.
That's amazing.
But Jeffrey is smart and was attempting to hide his location using what is called a proxy server, which is based in Germany. Now, a proxy server is something where you bounce around the signal so it doesn't show where you're from. However, we are smarter.
Wow.
And after managing to get around that proxy server, we traced Jeffrey's exact location. Oh my God. And despite what Terry thinks, Jeffrey is not in California. He is 7,838 miles away in West Africa.
I knew it.
In a small town called Ekpoma. Now, Ekpoma is in Nigeria. Nigeria. Now, as you probably have heard, Nigeria is the absolute hotbed of catfish scams, where...
I know about catfish, but I know that they do a lot of scamming and things of that nature.
You now know, because I'm telling you, it's where a lot of these catfish scams come out of. And what happens is they're in workrooms over there. They might have 50 different people they're working at one time.
I told you, this is a business. They have call centers for this.
It just so freaks me out.
And the actual name associated with this is not Jeffrey, it's Ori Mungahe. And Ori Mungahe Ola. And we found just 3 people with this name, and each of them live in Nigeria. I'm telling you that all of these phone calls, all of these text messages, all of this chatter you've been having going back and forth with this person on Hangout have been originating out of a small village in Nigeria.
Wow. I want to beat him to death.
Okay, now Terry claims that she sent money to Aerotex Global Investment on behalf of Jeffrey. No business name is listed on Google or anywhere else that we could find under Aerotex Global Investment. The business just simply does not exist. They just made the name up.
Oh my God.
They have a screening device where they cut someone from the herd and target them so they don't waste time. I'm going to tell you and show you what that screening device is right after the break, because it was used on Terry.
Terry's a broken individual because of this whole situation. Terry's nothing like the woman she used to be.
Prior to this Jeffrey Dean Morgan, my aunt was a woman you would not want to cross. She is abrasive, she is firm, and she is not afraid to get in your face. That's what is so frustrating about seeing her being taken advantage of. The woman I see now is scared, lonely, and a mess.
I feel like a fool. I am so heartbroken. I feel like my life is ruined. My life has been destroyed. I just feel lost. At this point, I will never be the same, because I'm never going to trust anybody ever again.
Closed captioning provided by...
There are currently bank fraud charges against me. I am definitely facing jail time at this point. A few weeks ago, Jeffrey deposited $20,000 into my account. Then he wanted me to go to my bank and take out the bulk of the money and then put it into other accounts.
I told her you need to contact authorities and get yourself cleaned from this. Otherwise, you're gonna go down with this guy.
The bank closed my account because they said that I was involved in money laundering. I was so upset, I was freaked out. I still am.
Terry says she was scammed out of thousands of dollars by the man she says that she loved, the man that she claimed she would go to any length for. Now, I mentioned earlier that these scammers have what I call a screening device. I call it that because we've actually talked to some of these scammers. Now, Terry says that Jeffrey speaks perfect English, and she would know because she is an English major, right? You had this training.
Well, that and when I use my microphone on my phone.
The text message that he sent to her on September 24th kind of disputes this claim. He says, "Then go get the money out and send it through Bitcoin, babe. I'm not talking to other girl but you, babe. You her the only woman I love, the happiness of my life. You make me happy every day of my life. Okay. You her my source of joy. Please try to understand me. I love you so much. This will be the last money and am not sending anything again. Now, obviously, that's not a really good, that's not really good grammar.
Well, honestly, to be honest with you though, because I have RA, I always use the microphone because it's hard for me to type. So a lot of my grammar comes out like that too. That's why I didn't.
Yeah, but this guy is
dispute
from
the
Nigeria.
grammar.
That's why the grammar's
But
bad.
we don't know that. We don't know that he has. We don't know that he has RA. But here's what they tell us. They tell us, look, they have spell check on their computers. They have spell and grammar check on their computers. Why do you not correct the grammar? They said, if we find someone that's willing to overlook that, we know a live one. If we find somebody that is willing to ignore that, we know we have somebody worth pursuing. If somebody calls us on the grammar when we tell them we're from Omaha and they call us on the grammar, we know it's time to move on. So we leave it there as a screening device. And if they're willing to overlook that, we know it's time to it's time to go into it. Okay, I want to play a clip of the real Jeffrey just giving an off-the-cuff interview at Toronto International Film Festival so we can listen to how he actually speaks.
This is a character that is not a very good guy. If you break this down into its basic sense, he's an evil person. He's got some big issues. Pretty fluent English, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you compare that to what we just had up here. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some
English is
discrepancies
his.
involved.
So what does the real Jeffrey Dean Morgan have to say? Well, let's find out when we come
I
back.
don't want to know.
Well, Terry says that she's brokenhearted, and fears that she just may well end up behind bars. And after being cruelly scammed out of thousands of dollars and involved in becoming complicit in money laundering, moving a whole lot more money. And I think it's very clear here that we're not talking about the real Jeffrey Dean Morgan. We're talking about somebody from Nigeria. And you said you thought maybe it was him or somebody in his camp, and I don't think he has camp members in Nigeria. But still, just to belt and suspenders, the producers did reach out to the real Jeffrey Dean Morgan's representatives, who then referred them to his attorney, who gave the following statement. We confirmed with Jeffrey, they actually spoke with him, that he has no involvement with nor prior knowledge of what appears to be a heinous crime which should be handled by the appropriate law enforcement agencies such as the FBI. Also, commonsensically, you were saying that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a struggling character actor.
No, he's not.
I asked my team to just do a quick search of his career and discovered that he is far from a struggling character actor. Take a look.
And right hit Jeffrey.
Terry says that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a struggling character actor. Well, if you look online, that is clearly not the case. He's starred in over 60 roles in film and television. Right now, most fans know him as Negan, the sinister villain on The Walking Dead that he actually took home a Critics' Choice Award for. And recently, he was one of the leads in the blockbuster film Rampage, which took home over $400 million in the international box office. And going back to TV, he was a regular as Detective Jason Krause on The Good Wife, which won multiple Emmy Awards over its run. And who can forget his fan favorite role in Grey's Anatomy as heart transplant patient Denny? People loved his role in that.
Yeah, so the point is, he's kept a pretty steady job.
His credits, starting from 2006 to the present, he's married to actress Hillary Burton.
Correct.
They have 2 children, 8 and 8 months. I don't want to leave any stone unturned. We have had cyber experts. We have had investigators on the ground. We have done.
The money, though, where did all that come from, and where did all? I don't understand all that stuff.
Where does what?
All the money. Where did it all go? Where did it come
It's
from?
part of a money laundering scam.
Yeah, all the money's been
that's all it
laundered.
is.
All the money that you've been sending out and going has been going to do illicit things.
Right.
You're never going to see a dime back.
The red flags that were overlooked here is that you were asked for money soon after meeting this person. You were asked for personal information even though they never met. You were asked for bank account information even though they never met. He asked her to accept wire transfers, asked her to send MoneyGrams overseas to strangers, made excuses not to meet, talked about marriage even though they've never met. I mean, these are classic red flags, and I say that for everybody at home. Look, if it's too good to be true, it's just probably not true. And
Very true.
even though your heart may want something to be true, you just have to know.
But what's interesting, though, because my therapist and I worked with this, and she didn't ask me any of this. This is interesting. She didn't say any of this stuff.
Why
to me.
wouldn't your therapist ask you any of
any
this
of this
stuff?
stuff, though?
I don't know.
I mean, she's a medical professional, isn't she?
Right.
Hey, don't be dishing my therapist, man.
Hey, listen, everybody contributes something, right? Everybody contributes something, and
But see, she didn't. This is the thing. She didn't ask me because that was the one question I wanted to ask you as a therapist. Which, once I take my clinical exam and hopefully don't go to prison, I will be a licensed therapist, and I wanted to know how to help my clients not be an idiot like me. I mean, I'm highly intelligent. Highly intelligent.
Okay, we brought you here not to humiliate you, but to help you.
you know, Terry can move on from this, and I'm going to tell her exactly what I think she needs to say to herself and exactly what I think needs to happen when we come back. Closed captioning provided by... Here's what I'll say to you. You know, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And this is one of those times that you learn. It's not win or lose, it's win or learn. And here you learn. And this shouldn't be a situation where you say, you know, I'm not ever going to trust anybody again. I trust people based on how much I can trust myself to handle what they may or may not do. And that's what you need to do, is decide, you know what, I've learned a really valuable lesson here. You know, just give yourself the chance to say, you know what, you saw I put up here $1.2 million, you know, several $100,000. You didn't get burned for 6 figures. You didn't get burned for 7 figures, and you're not going to go to jail here.
Are you sure?
No. But I can tell you what, they're going to have to go through me to put you in jail, because I will fight for you.
Thank you.
I will fight for you. You're surrounded by people that care about you, including me, and that's a good running start, right? If you believe that you've been the victim of an internet love scam, listen, there is something to do. Go to the FBI special website, ic3.gov.
Oh, that I didn't.
ic3.gov, because there is help. I want to thank all of my guests today. We will see you next time.